Okay, let me know if I can be heard in the chat, please. I've been trying to set this up for a little bit now. Just let me know if I can be heard, and we will get things going here. So, I see that we're doing fine on the stream. Okay, so this is the official Revelations post show stream. Let me adjust my mic here. Give me a second here. Okay, that should be better now. Okay, so this is the official Revelations 5 post-show stream. If you have not seen Revelations 5 yet, then this will probably be where you have to leave, because there will be spoilers in this entire video. So I'm just going to warn you now before you get too deep into this that we will be spoiling Revelations here. This is for the ones that were at the stream last night or have seen Revelations by now. So again, thank you guys for coming out. I know there was a few issues in the beginning of this stream. I fortunately worked out, so everything's cool now. I won't just be talking about DCA stuff, though. I am going to be discussing Virtual Wrestling United stuff, as well as some other things that I'm going to be doing in 2020. But I just want to take time to let all that out. But we're going to run down what happened at Revelations. So again, if you have not seen Revelations yet, I encourage you to get out now. That's the nicest way I can put it. You might as well leave now, because you will be spoiled and then you won't want to watch it. But I encourage you guys to go and see it. It was a really great show. A lot of things went down, some that people liked, and a lot of things that a lot of people didn't like. But we will get to that in just a few minutes. So I'm going to run through this match by match, obviously. We're going to start with night one and go from there. And again, for those of you who are just tuning into the stream, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out on this Sunday afternoon for some of you. And again, this is going to be kind of a chill stream. This won't hopefully take too long. I do have some other projects I have to start working on right now, so I can't stay too long tonight. But I wanted to do this again this year, because last year I did a post-show stream, and I wanted to do this again this year, keep that tradition going. So let me go through match by match and run down what exactly took place on the card. Now, the first match of night one was for the DCA Pure Championship, as Takeru Yukimura defended against Charles Schultz, James Needham, Dante Styles, Sly Cooper, Marcus King, Zaya Steele, and Matt Farrow. It was a clash, to say the least. It was one of those matches where if you couldn't keep up with everything, then no one would judge you whatsoever, because it was one of those matches where anything could happen at any time. Anyone could get pinned at any time. It was not elimination. It was one fall to a finish, which made it even more chaotic. But in the end, the underdog, the one that a lot of people went into this match thinking he wasn't going to win it, but he did win it, Takeru Yukimura is still the DCA Pure Champion. He successfully defended the championship and will head into season 6 as the pure champion. So that is one accomplishment for Takeru once again. He is successful at Revelations. I believe this is the 4th or 5th time. I don't think Takeru's even been beaten at Revelations. I'll have to go back and look at the record books, but I know he won at 3, 4, and 5. So, and I think he won. No, he won. I think he won it at 2 also. So he's at, as of my knowledge right now, and I don't remember one very much for obvious reasons. But he's been on a roll at Revelations. He is on a very meteoric rise. I know there's been, and I will get to this as well in later on about Takedown and the status of Takedown, because I know that a lot of people are wondering about that. But I will get to that as time goes on. But the second match of the evening was for the DCA tag team titles. It was Calvin Richardson and Casey Gordon defending the titles against the Black Cathedral from Battle Pro. Battle Pro just had their Grand Prix. You go if you want to go and check that out. It's on the Battle Pro channel. And it was a really amazing show. And the Black Cathedral, if you know, kill people. Not literally, but they hurt people very bad. And Calvin and Casey have been known to hurt people very bad. So when Chris announced this match, it was a very wide consensus that there was going to be blood, there was going to be violence, there was going to be brutality, and this match was going to be something of a head-on car crash over and over again between possibly 4 of the biggest, baddest dudes in the DCA roster. But that's not what we got. What we got was probably one of the most shocking things in Revelations history, as the Black Cathedral destroyed Calvin and Casey within a matter of minutes without breaking a sweat. And by minutes, I mean at least about 2 or 3 minutes it took them to beat Calvin and Casey. And yes, the Black Cathedral, Gabriel and Martis, are the new DCA Tag Team Champions. What that means for the rest of the Takedown Tag Team division, I have no idea. It is not my job to know. It is not my obligation to know, because I don't want to get in the middle of the Black Cathedral any way, shape, or form. No, I don't. So, that's one of those issues where Chris handles that stuff, I handle the higher up stuff, and we're gonna go from there. So yeah. So the next match on the card was a 2 out of 3 falls match between Arcan and Johnny Bravo. This was Johnny Bravo's very first singles match in DCA. If you remember, all the way back at DCA Redline a few months ago, he teamed with Zach Stone to fight Arcan and Atlas Jones, and Atlas Jones, I believe he beat Zach in that match to win that tag match. But Johnny Bravo has not had a singles match yet until this night. Arcan coming in was wanting revenge on Johnny because Johnny cost Arcan the Pure Championship all the way back in the summer against Takeru. Takeru's held that Pure Championship ever since then. Arcan, a 2-time Pure Champion, lost it because of Johnny Bravo's interference, and now it's all led to here, where these two men were going to go at it for that title, for the 2 out of 3 falls match, excuse me. And right out of the gate, Johnny wanted to do a pose down for himself. But at the same time, on top of that, Arcan wasn't wanting to have any of that. He didn't want to have that. He tried to rush in, and ironically enough, Hitkid, who put this very bluntly, said Johnny's going to try and frustrate Arcan. He's going to try and get Arcan off of his game. He's going to try and lead him into a false sense of security, because if that happens, then Arcan will lose focus, and he may or may not end up making mistakes that will cost him the match. And lo and behold, within the first minute of the match, Arcan got caught with a small package, and Johnny Bravo got the first fall, to the shock of everyone, including Arcan himself. And then that's when everything changed. That is when Arcan finally started to take Johnny Bravo seriously. And when he took Johnny Bravo seriously, Johnny Bravo was beaten and beaten and beaten all over the arena, all over on the stage, on the outside, on the inside. He was getting beaten down by Arcan. Arcan obviously got the second fall, but in the third fall, Johnny had some life left. Johnny proved he could go with the best of them. Of course, Arcan, a former Battle Pro World Champion. Again, like I said, 2-time Pure Champion. The fact that Johnny Bravo, who a lot of people, Zahaya especially, thinks is a joke and doesn't belong in the takedown roster, he proved himself to be more than just what people would say a comedy act, right? He proved that he could hang with one of the best in the world, no matter whether you love him or you hate him. But at the end of the day, Arcan proved that he is up on that top tier when it comes to talent on the takedown roster, and he defeated Johnny Bravo 2-1 in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Arcan is your winner of that match. And then the next match on this card was a very personal one. It was Amy Lynn versus Jean. Now, I don't handle Wildcats. That's Lucinda's job. But I know the story of this fairly well. I know that Amy Lynn has been on a losing streak. It's been a roller coaster for Amy Lynn. So, she wins the Wildcats title. She beat my Mimi, who was the Wildcats champion, on episode 99 of Wildcats. That earned her an opportunity to face the champion, but Revy, at the time, who was the number 1 contender, attacked Amy Lynn because she couldn't attack my Mimi. Amy Lynn demanded to be added to the match at Wildcats 100, making it a triple threat. And, of course, Jean came in, and Jean and Ruby Malone both came in, but nonetheless, it was Amy Lynn who took advantage, won the Wildcats championship to the shock of everyone on that night. Amy Lynn was the Wildcats champion. But then on episode 102, in the rematch, Amy lost the Wildcats title to Revy in Revy's eventual first reign as Wildcats champion. And then after that, Amy Lynn was on a downward spiral. She lost to Akira. She lost to Morgan Raincroft. She lost in a couple of matches, actually. And it all led full circle, and even to the point, and it all started with the deal breaker, where Amy and this was during the Rumble Roses. This is after the Rumble Roses match. Amy Lynn put up she wanted a shot at the Wildcats title. She wanted a rematch. But the thing was, Mari had a opportunity as well. So the thing was, it was Amy Lynn's Wildcats title shot against Mari Pond. Mari Pond, if she lost the deal breaker match, she would not get another championship match at all for the rest of this year of 2019. If she won, she would get an opportunity at a championship later on in the year. Amy Lynn, if she won, she'd get a rematch for the Wildcats title. But if she lost, she must leave the Suicide Girls, which was her family. It meant a lot to her. Amy lost, and Mari got the title shot. Amy Lynn lost her right to be in the Suicide Girls. So it's just Jamie and Scarlett. And ever since then, the Suicide Girls haven't been the same either. Jamie and Scarlett have tried to go on their separate ways, but it hasn't really worked out too well. Amy Lynn, like I said, she lost to Akira, she lost to Morgan, she lost to all these people, trying to get her family back, trying to persuade Lucinda to give her one more shot. She even went to Lucinda and said, is there a grudge? Do you have a grudge against me? And Lucinda said no. But I have a proposal for you. Jean has been a problem on the Wildcats roster. Jean has caused us so much harm and grief on the Wildcats roster, and I think it's time that somebody stops her, and I believe you can do it. And if you do it at Revelations, I will give you your family back. Amy Lynn said, well, that's fine. If I win, I can be back in the Suicide Girls. But if I lose, I will leave DCA. I will voluntarily leave DCA. That was her proposal for the match. So, in the end, it led to this match. Jean and Amy Lynn. And it was a really great match. Let's just call it like we see it. If you've seen Revelations, if you saw what happened, you'll know these two women tore it up. They went out there and they tore the house down. They showed exactly why they belong on this roster, in my opinion. I was there watching. It was a really great match. And Amy Lynn came out on top. Amy Lynn beat Jean. And now she is, and now the Suicide Girls are a 3-person unit once again. So it's good to see that Amy Lynn is back on the right path, that she is on the right track towards success once again. She's got her family back. She's in the right spirits. I talked to her after the match at Revelations, and she was crying, and she had a big smile on her face, and she was just happy in knowing that she could have Scarlett and Jamie back in her life. And that to me is the most important thing, that she could have that family back that she's wanted for so long. And as for Jean, a lot of people were cheering for Jean after the match. I don't know if it picked up on commentary or on the air or anything, but Jean was getting pretty massive cheers after the match, and I think it was because of the effort that Jean put in for that match. She, whether we love her or hate her, and for all the stuff that she's done in DCA on the Wildcats roster, putting people out of action and everything, you can't deny the fact that she has talent. She is a talented performer in the ring. She can really get it done when the lights are on bright, and she can show that she can really go when it comes to the squared circle. And there's a reason she's on the roster, and there's a reason Lucinda wanted her on the roster. And I feel like the best of Jean's yet to come, in my opinion. I think that this may be a turning point for her. Maybe, I don't know if she's going to speak to Sylvia or speak to the other No More Heroes who have been on an absolute roll in the latter half of 2019, or actually all of this year, which I'll get to later as well. But the fact that she was getting that respect, then it shows a lot about Jean and how talented she actually is. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Jean is capable of in 2020. And that's something that I think a lot of people should be getting prepared for. Don't sleep on Jean. Like, really. You might think that she's just about taking people out and hurting people, and that might be true. But at the same time, you can't sit there and tell me that she doesn't have talent, because she does. She's damn good. She is damn good in that ring, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is that she belongs. She proved it on that night. She proved it 2 nights ago. And again, I hope to see the best out of both. I honestly want to see the match again. I honestly do. I would love to see those two go back and have a even better match than they did 2 nights ago. in my opinion. But speaking of show stealers, the next match we're going to talk about is the Rising Star title match between Faith Connors and Nilin. Now, a lot of people, myself included, believed that we would see this match in the Queens of Wrestling tournament. Nilin was originally in the Queens of Wrestling tournament, but at Wildcats Death and Defiance, Dark Sakura took her. And we don't know where she went. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know how she escaped, even though she kind of explained it a couple of Wildcats episodes ago. I believe it was 126 when she explained how she was able to escape Dark Sakura. But the point was, Faith Connors has been on a massive rise since coming back to DCA earlier in the summer. She won the Rising Star title on the episode of Wildcats After Pure Engagement when Adeline Whitewinter was forced to relinquish the championship due to injury because of Joserath. And Faith took that ball, ran with it, and she has been the Rising Star champion ever since. And now she has to deal with Nilin, one of her closest friends, someone she's known for a really long time, someone who has the same similar style, background, and everything to her. And it was a dream match. It was the Rising Star dream match. It was built that way for a reason, because that's exactly what it was. And these two women, they, as opposed to the Amy Lynn and Jean match, this one was high flying. It was all over the place. It was a perfect blend of technical wrestling and high flying that you would expect from these two. The crowd was on their feet, obviously, for the entire match. Nilin showing that she is indeed the Nilin of old, that nothing that happened in between what happened to her with Dark Sakura changed her in any way. She went out there and showed exactly what she's made of, and Faith just showed exactly why she's the Rising Star champion, why she took that mantle that so many that have been before her has taken, including Cody Hale, who has held that championship in the past. And now she's the Call Stars Women's Champion. Well, she's not the Call Stars Women's Champion yet, but she's looking to become the Call Stars Women's Champion, I should say, in the future after winning the Call Stars Rumble earlier in the summer. But it shows exactly what that Rising Star title can do. It has elevated people to heights before. Carmen Cortez, she held the Rising Star title. She had to relinquish it, but the fact that she held it and now she's on the top of the mountain in virtual wrestling in her eyes says a lot. Alan B. Martin, she was a Rising Star champion, and now she is at the top of the business in New Dawn. Jade Storm, two-time Rising Star champion, the longest reigning Rising Star champion in company history. She will, and a note on Jade Storm, she will be back in DCA very soon. Kieva Andrews, former Rising Star champion, first ever SRW Queen of the Deathmatch champion. She's former DCA Wildcats tag team champion. She's done a lot as well, you know. And again, like I said, it's just the importance of the Rising Star title. It's elevated people that have held that championship to a higher standard, and Faith is looking to do that same thing. And Faith ended up at the end of it all winning and retaining the Rising Star title, and she's going to head into 2020 as the Rising Star champion. So for anyone who's doubting Faith, who, as the commentary would love to say, you have to have faith in Faith, she proved it. She went out there and proved it. And for Nilin, this isn't the end of the road for her. It's definitely not, in my opinion. I think that she has a future in DCA. I feel like it's only a matter of time before Nilin has a title around her waist in DCA. It's just a matter of timing. It's a matter of getting in there in the right place at the right time. And the Rising Star division is growing every day. So, I mean, it's going to be a wild ride in 2020 to see who will take that next step and try and knock Faith off the mountain. But ever since Faith Connors came back to DCA, she had that short stint in, I believe, season 3. Season 2, season 3. It was season 3. She had that short stint there, and then she's come back and she's just ran literally to try and get to the top, and she has held that Rising Star title for a while. Of course, like I said, Jade Storm the first longest, Lynn the second longest, Kieva Andrews third longest. But if she keeps this up, she will at some point surpass all of them if she so chooses. But for right now, Faith Connors, the current still Rising Star champion. And next up, Morgan Raincroft and Celeste Amira in a no-holds-barred match. Now, if you remember last year at Revelations, it was Morgan Raincroft who was coming on to a scene in DCA where she was not familiar with. She has been through a lot since losing the Wildcats title back in Season 2. Back in Season 2, she was the most dominant woman in virtual wrestling. In many people's eyes, she ran through nearly the entire Wildcats division until she met a buzzsaw by the name of Vanessa Price. And at Sacred Ambitions, Vanessa Price did what no one else could do, did what no one else thought that was possible. And she beat Morgan Raincroft in the middle of the ring to become the Wildcats champion. And ever since then, Morgan has and this is just me, I think she's kind of struggled. She went into the match with Pyra at Redemption that year, and she struggled to beat her. She barely made it out of that match. And then, of course, the icing on the cake was her match with Candice Romero, where she lost at Revelations 2. And she didn't ever recovered from that, in my opinion. I think that the fact that she lost that match, which she personally felt like was a must-win for her, it was a tipping point to everything that she had accomplished, everything that she was, everything that she is to that she was to that point. And she had to win that match. And she went in and she thought she could beat her, and she didn't. And it broke her. And again, I think that she hasn't been the same since that match. I mean, she went into CCL and she's had title opportunities that she's either been screwed out of or she just fell short in. Of course, we all know that infamous Summer Madness when she got dropped on the top of her head and she broke her neck, and she was out for a good 6 to 9 months, I believe, and she never recovered from that. She comes back. I think she wins May Madness, but gets screwed out of that opportunity as well. And it's been just one misstep after another. And then it all came to last year at Revelations when she went up against the bigger, taller, stronger Celeste Amira in a lot of people's eyes. She's the new kid on the block, if you will. She was dominant. She was beautiful. And she still is. Let's not kid ourselves here. Celeste Amira to that point had not been pinned or made to submit at all. She'd run through everyone. She even created her own championship just because there was nobody on the roster that could beat her, and she felt she could be the Wildcats champion, but management would not give her a title opportunity, so she created her own championship, the DCA Goddess Championship, which has now become a pretty legitimate championship, in my opinion, which we'll get to later. But Celeste Amira went into that match wanting to end Morgan Raincroft's legend and to start or continue her own legend. And she did it. She beat Morgan Raincroft. And at that point, a lot of people, because I was there and I listened to them, a lot of people said that this was the end of Morgan Raincroft, that she was done after this, that there was no way she could recover from what she just went through. Until Redemption of this year, when Morgan Raincroft comes back, but she doesn't come back alone. She comes back with Fiona Lovelace, who debuted earlier this season and then disappeared. She came back And they both came back with Balalaika in tow, who hadn't been seen since she lost the Team DCA versus Team Rebellion match in the main event of that Revelations where Morgan lost. So they all came back at the same time. Morgan, this new, stronger, more powerful woman, comes back, and Celeste Amira is right dead in her sights. She wants no one but Celeste Amira. And it led to tonight, well, last night, well, 2 nights ago, I should say, where those two met once again in a no-holds-barred match. And I believe, in my personal opinion, I think this one was a lot more aggressive, a lot more physical, a lot more brutal than that match was last year. Morgan had something to prove. She wanted to prove that she's still this dominant force that she has always been, that she hasn't lost a step, that Celeste is not the future, that she's still the present, here and now. And Celeste wanted to prove that Morgan's old news. She's in the past, that she's done, there's nothing left for her, that Celeste is the new dominant force. So in a way, it's the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, in my opinion. That's exactly what this was. And at the end of it all, at the end of the day, Morgan Raincroft caught Celeste off guard, hit 2 spears, ended it, done. 1, 2, 3. Morgan Raincroft beats Celeste Amira, gets her payback. But I'm pretty sure, if I know Celeste Amira, I'm pretty sure this is not over between the two. They are 1-1 now. Morgan's 1-1, Celeste is 1-1. So you know deep down inside, both of them will want a rubber match to see who's the better woman. I don't know when that'll happen. I don't know how that's going to come about, but sooner or later we're going to have to get that resolved, because it's going to have to happen. If it doesn't happen, they'll make it happen themselves. And I don't think the locker room will survive if that does happen. And then we come to the main event of night 1. It was the Sacred Empress Akira against the Forefront Oseko. And this one was one of the more highly anticipated matches on the card, in my opinion. I think this was a match that a lot of people were looking forward to. This was a match that a lot of people were really just salivating over on who was going to win, and just the spectacle of it. What were they going to expect? What kind of Akira were they going to get? Just a lot of different questions running in to that match. And I think for me, it was an honor to watch that go down, because Akira has crafted a legacy for herself in DCA that a lot of people wish they could do. Former Wildcats champion, but let's not take away the fact that she's only won 1 championship in DCA, because that's not the whole story. She's like I said, former Wildcats champion, former ZCW Women's champion, former Queens of Wrestling champion. She has been one of the top names in DCA ever since Season 2. She has really risen from a virtual unknown to becoming one of the more strange, one of the more unique, one of the more popular enigmas in virtual wrestling. Whenever Akira is around, people take notice of her. Whenever Akira is present, people see it, people want to see her, people want to know what's happening with her, people want to know her story. That is how popular and how mysterious Akira has become. On the flip side of that, you got Oseko, who's been in this business for 20 years, has done damn near everything under the sun in this business that you can think of. If you can think of it, she's done it. If you name a company, she's been there. In an Armbar Air Society, she's done it all, almost. She's done just about everything you can ask for. And then earlier this year, she comes into DCA for the very first time. She wants a match with Sakura, but she wanted to get the Goddess title off of Lucina first. She does that. She challenges Sakura, and then they have a classic match at Redemption where Sakura wins back the Goddess title, and Osako, feeling like her job was finished, she basically told Sakura that the title was yours and that she wasn't going to give it up without a fight. And to her credit, Sakura gave her the fight of her life, and Sakura ended up winning and becoming the Goddess champion. And at that point, Osako was like, my job is done. I did what I came to DCA to do. And that was to show Sakura how important she was and how important she is to the Goddess title. I don't have anything left to prove. I have nothing left to gain. I'm taking off. And before she could do that, Akira appears out of nowhere, and Osako doesn't even have to wait for Akira to say anything. She said she accepts. She pretty much said, I accept. And at that point, after that was done, Osako got attacked by Akira with her baseball bat. And that's what led to all of that at Gateway to Heaven. Because at Gateway to Heaven, it was Osako and Carmen for the Fever Championship. And Osako was in control of the match. And then out of nowhere, Akira once again attacking Osako from completely out of the blue. But Osako fought back, hit the KNS onto Akira, but Akira disappears before any more damage was done. However, Osako takes Akira's bat, and Akira went pretty much virtually silent up until the last week of Revelations, before Revelations, and pretty much said that this wasn't about her legacy. It wasn't about Osako's legacy. It's about her legacy. And how she doesn't have much time left, how there's not much time left for her, for Akira I'm speaking about. So it all came full circle to this one match, this one fight between Akira and Osako. Wayne, one of Osako's closest friends, was on guest commentary for this match, and I want to thank him for taking time out of his schedule to come and call that match, call Osako's match. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It is the very last match of night one, of Revelations. And it was one of the more classic matches I think I've ever watched. Both women had something to prove. Both women had a purpose on why they felt they should win the match. And Akira went into this just pure... It was a different Akira than I think I have ever seen. I know a lot of people, I'd say joke more. I'd say joke, but I say more. I more take it serious that they don't know how many Akiras there are. I feel that there's only one, but who knows? I try not to get into that sort of thing, but when it comes to Akira, she hasn't been the same since her streak ended last year. And this was one of those times and one of those moments where Akira felt like she needed to win this. And that's something you don't hear about Akira very much, is where she feels like she has to win a match. Because in certain times, for certain people, you would think that she feels like she doesn't need to win anything. She just needs to come in, kick somebody's head off, take somebody out, and that's her job done. But this was a time where Akira legitimately felt like she needed to win this match. But that wasn't the case. Osako ended up beating Akira. Akira is now 0-4 at Revelations. She lost at 2, 3, 4, and now here. She has not won a single Revelations match, which is shocking to probably most of you. But what was probably the most shocking was after the match was over, Akira knelt down. She realized what happened. Osako was gone. She realized what happened. She knelt down as if she was praying, and then she vanished. And I can tell you right now, from what I've been told, no one has been able to sense Akira's presence since that night. I don't know what that means. I don't know if she's truly gone, but I think this may have been, and I know I'm knocking on wood here. I know I may be speculating a little bit, but I can't tell right now. But for just as I'm seeing it now, I think we may have seen the last of Akira. Just based on everything that she said in the lead up to Revelations, just the weird actions she's been having, and then what happened 2 nights ago. I and it's tough for me to say because I know there's people out there that are going to be like, well, she's done this before and she always comes back. And that's true. She does always come back. And she always does do these little things to play mind games with people. But this feels so much different than the other. You wouldn't be able to know unless you were in the arena that night. You wouldn't be able to tell exactly how eerie and how strange and how irregular it felt in the arena when Akira vanished. It felt like a piece of DCA's soul got ripped out when she left. I'm not joking when I say that. It literally felt that way that night. And I don't know what that means for the future. I don't know what that means for Akira. I don't know where she went. I've been asked all day. I've been asked for the last 2 days, where's Akira? Where's Akira? Where's Akira? I do not know. Lucinda doesn't know. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't know what else to tell you. But as for Oseko, she's not done in DCA either because I can go ahead and tell you this breaking news right now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it for after. I'll save it for after. So I'm going to run through these night 2 matches real quick, and then we're going to get to some breaking news. We're going to get to some VWU stuff, and then I'm going to head out. Night 2 started with the Celestial Championship match. Johnny Gat defending against Jamal Bedlam and Travis Touchdown. Now, these 3 men have been intertwined in one way or another for the last couple of months. Travis Touchdown was blamed for the Saints going down because of Sylvia by Johnny Gat. Johnny Gat has an issue with Travis. Travis doesn't necessarily have an issue with Johnny until Johnny started attacking him, and then he had an issue. Jamal Bedlam has had problems with a person that Travis works for in John Blackos and has friendship with Johnny Gat. So all 3 of these men have had a intertwining relationship one way or the other, whether for friendship or otherwise, and it all led to this Celestial Championship match where they beat the absolute hell out of each other as if their lives depended on it. And that's what happens when you get three technical killers in the same match beating the crap out of each other. You know. So it's one of those things where in a triple threat situation, anything can happen. Anything goes. No pinfalls, submissions, obviously. No countouts, no disqualifications. At the end of it all, Jamal Bedlam ending up becoming the new DCA Celestial Champion by pinning Travis Touchdown. He did not pin Johnny Gat, and that is the consequences of a triple threat match, where the champion doesn't have to be pinned to lose the title, and Johnny Gat was not pinned. So Travis Touchdown ate the pin. Jamal Bedlam is now your new DCA Celestial Champion and will move into 2020 as the new Celestial Champion. So that is going to be a very interesting road on Takedown to have the Savage as your new Celestial Champion. I don't know where Travis or Johnny go from here, but again, it was the danger of a triple threat, and Johnny just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, and Johnny Gat is no longer the Celestial Champion. It's now in the hands of the Savage. So we will see where that goes from here. So let me know if you're still in the chat, if you can hear me. I don't know. The chat's been kind of going up and down lately, so I just want to make sure I'm still heard. Okay. All right. Next match was Atlas Jones and Joshua Bishop, no holds barred. Now, I'm not going to get into all the specifics of this match or this matter or whatever. You all know the story. You all know the background of these two guys. So I'm not going to waste your time trying to explain it all to you, because if you've been in DCA since the start, or at least since the end of season 1, you'll know exactly what the story of this is. So I'm just going to leave it at that. As for the match itself, it was an absolute war. It was everything that you probably thought it would be, in where Atlas Jones absolutely got his ass whooped for 95% of the match. And the only reason that Atlas Jones won this match, I want to make this perfectly clear right now. The only reason Atlas Jones won this match is because he caught Josh slipping. That's it. That's the easiest way I can go about it. He rammed Bishop's shoulder into the ring post as hard as he could at least 5 or 6 times. Then he threw him as hard as he could, throat first, into the exposed turnbuckle, and then hit the front line. Joshua Bishop struggling for air, and he just managed to somehow squeak out a 3 count. This isn't over. I can pretty much guess it's not over between these two. It's too heated. It's too personal. Just speaking for me personally, I know it's not over between them. So heaven help whoever on Takedown has to get in their path. So it's gonna be a war zone no matter what next season. That's for sure. Now, I know I talked about this earlier, but I'm going to reiterate it again about the Goddess Championship, since we are going back to this, since we're now talking about the Goddess title match between Sakura Hagiwara, the champion, and the challenger, Lightning. Lightning has not held a singles championship in DCA since Season 2, since Revelations 2. She lost the Fever Championship in a fatal 4-way match between herself, Sakura, Kana Izuka, and Ayumi. At the time, Ayumi Nagara, now calling her by her real name, Ayumi Otanashi. And these two women know each other very well. They've fought each other in the past, not just in SCA, but in DCA as well. This was a very, very, very personal match for both of them. They both respect each other. They both understand what that Goddess Championship means. It's like I said before, the Goddess title was originally just a championship for Celeste and Mira, but it is quickly turned into a championship that could equal. If the Wildcat, here's my thing. If the Wildcats title is number 1 on the roster, then the Goddess title is 1A at this point. It has been one of the more sought after championships in virtual wrestling on the Wildcats roster. You can think of so many of the names that have been going for that title. Like Sakura has held that title twice now. She's technically a 2-time champion. If you don't want to count the fact that she lost the title without being pinned for it, then she's still a 1-time champion. So in the record books, it'll be 1 time because she technically didn't lose it. Osaka, who won the title before Sakura got it back, and again, it's one of those deals where the title is one of those sought after championships that DCA has provided to these women that feel like they need something else to fight for. If they don't want to fight for the Rising Star title, or they can't find a tag team partner and go after the tag titles, the next best thing, go after the Goddess title, or the Fever title. They're both gateways to the Wildcats title at this point, and the roster is so deep and so big right now, with so many women that are wanting to come in and make their mark in the Wildcats division, and as in the Wildcats division pretty much establishing itself as the go-to for women's wrestling and virtual wrestling today. the goddess title is right up there. And the fact that these two women who have had such huge impacts on the business were fighting for this championship last night says a lot. And the end of it all, Lightning finally getting back the championship that she has wanted for a while now, and a championship, her first championship since Revelations the Final Act, all the way back in 2014. So Sakura put everything she had into it. That's not taking anything away from Sakura. She did everything she could, and this isn't going to be the end for Sakura. She's got a lot more championships under her belt coming soon. I can guarantee it. But this was Lightning's night. She just caught Sakura on a bad day. That's about it. And anyone can get beat on any given night. And Lightning just happened to be that much better on this night. And Lightning is now the new Goddess Champion. So you'll have to see where Lightning takes the championship going into 2020. Like, what's she going to do? I don't know, but Lightning said she was still the same Lightning she's always been, and she proved it because she's now the new Goddess Champion. And now we go to this match, the final chapter between Dark Sakura and Ami Mizuno. I'm going to leave this really short because if I go into this whole story with these two, it'll take all night, and I know none of you have that amount of time on your hands. All I can tell you is that this was one of the more brutal matches on the card. Both women beat the crap out of each other. They tore each other apart, and it looked like Dark Sakura was about to win up until Ami did probably the only thing she could do, and the souls of everyone that Dark Sakura had taken fused into Ami's body, and it helped her win the match. So Ashura is gone. The souls of the women and people that Dark Sakura has taken are now back in the bodies of the ones they belong to. Ami saved everyone again, and Dark Sakura is gone, and Ashura is gone. So, Ami did exactly what she said she was going to do, and she took out Dark Sakura. So, Ami Mizuno, you're winner of the match. And I don't know where Ami's going to go from here. I don't know if she's going to stick around DCA or not, but all I know is that Virtual Wrestling owes her a great deal once again for what she did. The next matchup, and this is a very personal one for me, Veronica Domino taking on Amber Stevens. Amber Stevens, who just lost the CCL Women's Championship due to Juliet Starling cashing in her Money in the Bank and CCL at Supernova and winning the championship. Amber snapping after the match is over, brutally attacked Juliet, super kicked Ovana. Both have not been seen since then. Not in public anyway, has not been seen since that attack. So Amber has not said one word since that attack, so I don't know what her mindset is. I haven't talked to her. She passed by me in the hall at Revelations. She didn't look pissed at me, but I know she's deep down inside is pissed. As for Veronica Domino, she's the newcomer coming in, looking to make a big first impression. She beat Madison Lockhart. She beat Reiko, former Queens of Wrestling champion, former Glamour X champion. She beat her in the center, and she's wanted a match with Amber Stevens to show that she belonged. Amber gave it to her, said, hey, thank you for stepping up. You got your match. And it was a back and forth match, and both women put everything they had on the line. There was a lot of close near falls, a lot of close submissions. It was pretty much everything you would expect from these two who like to do technical wrestling, who like to do submission-based stuff, who like to do the MMA thing. They were pretty much evenly matched, and like Eddie said on commentary, it's like Amber was looking at a mirror image of herself, because that's literally almost what it was. Is her looking into a mirror image of who she used to be in the past, a younger Amber Stevens. And in the end, Veronica Domino did what a lot of people thought she couldn't do. And ironically, It's something that a lot of people thought that Amber couldn't do against Akira last year. She snapped the streak. Veronica Domino defeated Amber Stevens in the middle of the ring, and Amber's 3-year streak of being unpinned and unsubmitted is done. And Veronica did what she came to do. She came in, she beat Amber, and she left. No fanfare, no high-fiving, nothing. She had a job to do, and that's exactly what she did. And Amber, in the middle, after all of that, she was one to grab the mic, and she looked distraught, and she looked frustrated, and it almost looked to me, and this is just my opinion, it looked like Amber wanted to leave, like wrestling. It looked like she was done. But then out of nowhere, before she could even say one word, Michelle Rockford shows up out of nowhere, and just lays a beat down on Amber Stevens. And I didn't know Michelle was in the building. Lucinda didn't know Michelle was in the building. She attacked Amber from behind and injured her leg, and she just left. And I can tell you right now, Amber luckily did not. There was no tears. Well, thankfully, Amber is still recovering. Like I said, thankfully there were no tears in the leg in any of her ligaments. ACL, PCL, they're all fine. MCL, they're all fine. But I don't know when Amber's going to be back. I don't know her mental state, her physical state. I really don't know. All I know is that she's back home in Boston with Zach right now. I've been trying to call her, haven't gotten any responses. I know she called me back once. I think she just called me back, never left a message. So I'm hopefully going to get back in touch with her this week, see what's going on, try and maybe fly out to Boston and talk to her and Zach. But as far as I know, Amber is back at home. She was evaluated for the last 2 nights, or the last night, excuse me. And she was able to be let back into Boston, to fly back out to Boston at home. So that tells me that the damage wasn't as bad as initially thought. I thought she had a tear. I thought a lot of people thought she had a tear, but thankfully she didn't. As for Michelle, me and Lucinda looked into her contract last night. I don't know why she's still here, but apparently back when season 2 was around season 2 or 3, she signed a big time 4 or 5 year contract, so she can pretty much come and go whenever she wants. And we can't do anything about it. We can't fire her or anything like that, because that's the kind of contract that those assholes gave her when I wasn't in charge. So I don't know what kind of repercussions that Lucinda's going to give down to Michelle. I'm going to leave that to her. I know she's going to take care of that better than I could. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see next season exactly what punishment Michelle Rockford's going to get. But I can tell you right now, punishment's coming from Michelle. She just can't come in and out of DCA whenever she wants and attack superstars like that. She just can't do it. And there's got to be some line. There has to be a line at the end of the day. And the fact that she crossed the line again, and that's something I won't tolerate and something she won't tolerate. So, and talking about Lucinda. So we'll see what happens, but right now, I can't say anything more about it. I'll just let you guys know when it happens. Now here's the last 3 matches on the card, starting with the Wildcats Tag Team Championship match. The No More Heroes, 2-time Wildcats Tag Team Champions, defending against Maimimi Ishibashi and Aubrey Williams, the Rave City Sirens. Last year at Revelations, Aubrey and Maimimi beat the crap out of each other for the Wildcats title. We all know this. It was a Hell in a Cell match, probably one of the more brutal matches in virtual wrestling history, in DCA history, to be more specific. And as we all know, my Mimi won the Wildcats title. Two years ago, they actually teamed up at Revelations 3 against Pirate Life and won their first Wildcats Tag Team Championship. So now this is the 5th Revelations. They're going back in as the challengers for the Wildcats Tag Team titles, going up against the No More Heroes, Alice, Twilight, and Shinobu, who last year debuted in what Eddie would call the most despicable thing in virtual wrestling history, one of the more despicable things at least, when they broke up the marriage proposal of Carmen and Maya. But ever since then, ever since they started forming this team, they have been a dominant force. They have been one of the more successful teams in virtual wrestling, period. And they've been dominant, whether you love them or hate them. You can't deny how dominant they've been as a unit. And they were going into this, they only have one blemish on their record, and that's from the Arcadia Bay Ass Kickers back at the 6-year anniversary show. But they won those championships almost immediately after they lost them. They earned another opportunity at the titles, and they took advantage of it, and they beat the Arcadia Bay Ass Kickers to win back the titles. So, and then you have the Rave City Sirens, who returned to form earlier a couple months ago when Aubrey Williams came back and reunited with my Mimi. They brought Selena Zeta into the fold, and now they're a well-oiled unit. They beat Aubrey pinned Harley Quinn at Quarter of Silence. I believe she pinned her. She got the winning pinfall at Queens of Wrestling in the 3-on-3 with the Rave City Sirens against the Gotham City Sirens. And now going into this match, which was one of the best tag team matches for the Wildcats division I think we've had in a long time. And at the end of the day, the Rave City Sirens, Aubrey Williams again, pulling out a 5-star performance and getting the winning pinfall for the team, pinning Alice Twilight, and actually I think she pinned Shinobu. I have to go back and double check, but nonetheless, she got the winning pinfall. That's what matters, and she and my Mimi are the new Wildcats Tag Team Champions once again. They are 2-time champions, and they are still, as a unit, as those two are still undefeated as a team. So it's going to be interesting to see which team will step up and try to take the Wildcats Tag Team Champions, the Tag Team Championships, I should say, away from the Rave City Sirens next year. It's going to be interesting. As for the No More Heroes, of course, Shinobu still has the Queen's Gift, which means she has until February to cash in on either the Wildcats title or the Queens of Wrestling title. So keep an eye out on that. So it's not over for the No More Heroes. They still have a lot of aces up their sleeve. And again, I don't know if they're going to talk to Gene or anything, but there's a lot of backstory going into that we can get into at a later time. The DCA World Heavyweight Championship was next on the line as Zach Stone defended against the Determination Machine Malik Brown. And for me to tell you that this was probably the best match in DCA history would be an understatement in terms of, and Hick could put this as better than I could. In terms of pure wrestling, this was a match of the ages. This was one of the best pure wrestling technical masterpieces I think I've ever seen in virtual wrestling history. These two men bled, they sweat, they gave everything they had in the middle of the ring for almost an hour. And they tore each other apart, but they did it for the love of the game. They did it for the passion they have in this business. They did it to show why they wanted and needed in their mind the DCA World Heavyweight Championship. And it shows you just how important that World Championship is. Not just to them, but to the entire Takedown roster. And for a lot of people that said Takedown is dead, Takedown should go, Takedown shouldn't be around anymore, go back and look at this match. It's the first match on part 3 of night 2. Go back and see it, the entire match. And tell me that those two guys don't have a passion for Takedown in the business and the superstars in that locker room. Because that's exactly what they showed in this match. There were so many close calls, so many near falls, so many times you thought that one person would win over the other and back and forth again. It was that kind of a match, taking you on a roller coaster ride. It was perfect almost. And at the end of it all, Zach Stone keeps his revelation streak alive, and he defeats Malik Brown and is still the DCA World Heavyweight Champion. He is, I believe, the first person to come into Revelations as the second person to come into Revelations as a world champion and walk out as the world champion, because ironically enough, Malik Brown did that at the very first Revelations. He walked in as the world champion and he retained the world title at Revelations 1. So it's also, I believe, the first time that the Gateway to the Gateway to Heaven ladder match winner, ironically enough, this is the second time that the cash-in failed, because the first time the cash-in failed, I believe it was Zach Stone, because he tried to cash in the first season, lost it to Atlas Jones. Atlas Jones ended up cashing in and winning. So this is pretty similar paths for both men. But Zach Stone was able to get that rubber match win, and he has proven, as Malik said it to himself, and Malik said it to him in the ring after the match was over, even though the camera didn't catch it, but commentaries did. Malik said, "You're the face now. You are the face of DCA Takedown." So Zach Stone, who wanted to show the world that Takedown was stepping up, that Takedown was going to go back to prominence again, and I believe him. The roster that we're gaining together for Takedown, which I'll get to in a minute, Zach Stone holding charge as the world champion, it's going to be a pretty big year for Takedown. So if you're sleeping on it, I highly suggest you don't do that anymore, because these two men showed exactly what Takedown is going to bring in 2020. And then we come to the night 2 main event, and this is where all the fuck shittery started to happen. The last Rebel standing Ronaport death match between Carmen Cortez and Revy. This went an hour and 10 minutes. And it was probably the most bloody, the most hilarious, the most crazy, the most violent hour and 10 minutes in DCA history. You all know the history of Carmen and Revy. I might have to make a documentary or something about it later on or whatever. But you know their story. You know their backstories. You know everything about these two women that I don't need to repeat nauseum again for you here. The only thing that you need to know is that these two women were fighting not just for 2 championships, but they were also fighting for pride. They were also fighting for glory. They were also fighting for personal pride. They were fighting for a purpose. Carmen to save Revy. Revy to prove that she is on the top and to get rid of Carmen. It was they busted themselves. They literally headbutted themselves so hard that they cracked their skulls open within 30 seconds of the match starting. That's how personal this was for both women. They went backstage. People got thrown off of trucks. People got car doors slammed on them. Windshields broken. The ring torn apart. The ring floor torn apart. Everything torn apart. Rusted nails. Steel steps, ladders, chairs, kendo sticks, sledgehammers, you name it, and they used it in this match. Tables, flaming tables. They used everything at their disposal. Everything that was not nailed down. They found it, they used it, and they kept using it. And at the end of the day, I can't really, like I said, words cannot do this justice, this match. And you have to literally go back and watch it. And it'll probably go up as a separate video at some point anyway. You have to go back and watch it to understand completely why this match was so special. And it ended with Revy pretty much begging Carmen to finish her and crying in the middle of the ring, something you wouldn't see Revy do. And I think Revy's chains literally were broken by Carmen, and Carmen ended up winning and holding both championships high and holding the Wildcats title above her head. And I wish I could tell you that that's how the show ended, but that's not how the show ended. The show actually did end, but when the commentators were off air and they went backstage and it faded to black, someone took the lights back on, and when the lights did turn back on, I don't know really how to say this in a professional manner, but I'm just going to go ahead and, because I've had phone calls all day. I've had phone calls from so many people saying, how did this happen? How did she get in? And all this stuff. I'm just going to address it as the professional that I am. Ashley Simpson from VWF invaded DCA and attacked Carmen Cortez after Revelations went off the air and laid her out. It was exactly who you thought it was. She invaded. She gave Carmen the GTS twice, locked in the Anaconda Vice. Carmen passed out, and Ashley left. I have not seen her since. I have not heard anything since. I have had my phone ring off the hook. Lucinda's phone's been ringing off the hook for the last 24 hours, asking why, and we can always, and all we've been able to do is ask the same questions. I say the same thing. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But all I know is that it happened. It's over with. I can't change it. I can't go back in time and fix it. It happened. It just happened. And I don't know. I don't know what happens now. I really don't. It was one of the more shocking things I've ever seen. It was one of the more shocking things that the DCA audience has ever seen. And again, I can't tell you what's next because I don't know. I don't know where this goes. I don't know why she showed up. I don't know why she attacked Carmen. I don't know her beef with Carmen. I didn't even know she knew Carmen. So I can't tell you anything right now. I just can't. I'm sorry. If that hurts you, if that's too much for you, I'm sorry, but I can't say anything else because I don't know. I'm just as much in the dark as any of you. So I don't know. I really don't know. But all I know is that Carmen Cortez is still the Wildcats champion, and she will be heading into season 6 as the Wildcats and Fever champion. So she is a triple champion right now. She's the Call Stars Women's Champion. She'll be defending that title Friday night at Holiday Havoc, and if she wins that match at CCL Holiday Havoc 9, she will be defending it on Sunday. No, it's not Sunday. On Saturday, next Saturday, this upcoming Saturday at D-Wall's Christmas Vacation. She'll be defending it there if she wins at Holiday Havoc. So, and if she doesn't win at Holiday Havoc, whoever does win at Holiday Havoc will be defending the title at the Christmas Vacation. So, there's that. So, that is your Revelations recap. So yeah, that's the show, guys. I hope, and not the end of the stream. I still got a lot to say, but that was the show. It was a great 2 nights of action, for better or worse. And again, if you haven't seen it, or if you want to go watch it, and if my words didn't just do you justice enough, if you want to go back and see it, there's a playlist. There's a playlist that you can go watch. It has all the parts, it has night 1 and all 3 parts of night 2. You can go back and see that anytime. Go to any match you want, watch it. It was a really great event. I really am proud of everyone involved, and it's going to be great, man. I tell you, it was one of the best. It was one of the best shows ever, and now we look forward to season 6. And I can go ahead and tell you now, 2 matches that are going to be made official tonight after the stream is over. That will be announced on the Twitter. that will be announced first on the Twitter page. I can go ahead and tell you that the DCA World Title, if you know about Countdown to Revelations, you will have known this. The DCA World Championship will be on the line at the season premiere of Takedown when Billy Edmonds, who has been in this DCA roster since day one, will face off against Zach Stone for the world title. It is his Billy Edmonds' very first world title match in his career. So Billy Edmonds has the opportunity, and he's done it before. He beat Tyson Jax on the Countdown show, something that no one else, not even Casey Gordon, could do, is pin Tyson Jax. He did that. So Billy Edmonds has the opportunity to shock the world on Takedown and win the DCA world title, but it's going to take a lot to take down Zach Stone, and pardon the pun. It's going to take a lot to put Zach Stone down. So it'll be interesting to see how Billy Edmonds does against Zach Stone for the first time. Also, on the Wildcat side, I can let you know of a match that is official. They kind of teased this on Twitter, but now I can make it official. Lucinda made it official earlier. The paperwork is signed for it. In a non-title match, it will be Carmen Cortez versus Oseko in a non-title match. None of Carmen's championships will be on the line in this match. It is simply for bragging rights. It is simply to rectify what happened at Gateway to Heaven when Akira interrupted Oseko and Carmen's match. So we will have a definitive winner between Carmen and Oseko, and that is happening on the season premiere of Wildcats. So 2 matches set right now. I can go ahead and repeat these. For the Takedown season premiere, Billy Edmonds will face Zach Stone, not defending. Billy Edmonds will challenge Zach Stone for the DCA World Championship, and Carmen Cortez in a non-title match will fight the forefront Oseko one-on-one once again. So look forward to those 2 matches. They are going to be very big matches. So look forward to the season premieres of Takedown and Wildcats. I will have a few teases, a few surprises for you after this stream goes off on the Twitter. So get ready for that. So now DCA stuff is pretty much done. I actually, you know what? No, I got one more thing I can tell you. I said that there were a lot of new signings to the Takedown roster, and there are. Some of them you saw on Twitter a couple months ago, and they're still going to be there. Jack Sparrow is still signed. Incineroar is still signed. Tommy Vercetti is still signed. Lupon III is still signed. Asta from Black Clover is still signed. So they're all still signed. The 2 that were supposed to be a 6-year anniversary show, they're still signed. There's still a lot of paperwork to go through with them, but they're still signed. But I can tell you one more signing that I can exclusively tell you here on the stream. If anyone is familiar with VWA, who is a part of the Rantboard Network, one of my good friends in the business that I've been talking to recently, he was back during the Gold Dash era of virtual wrestling. If you remember him, you'll remember a man named Kenzo. He is signed to DCA. Kenzo, I can break this right now. It's exclusive news. Kenzo from VWA is signed to Takedown and will be on Takedown next season. So if you're familiar with Kenzo's work, or if you've seen his work before on the Rantboard Network when it was around, or any of his older stuff, you will be happy to know that he's coming to DCA. A huge signing. I can also tell you of one other new signing, but I can't say that yet. It's a surprise. But let me just say that there are a lot of new signings coming into Takedown. So if you've been, like I said before, if you've been sleeping on Takedown before, I wouldn't do that now, because there's a lot of new talent coming in. There's a lot of big names that I can't say right now that are coming into the Takedown roster, and it's going to really bolster that division. Probably more than I've ever had in the 6.5 years nearly that I've been doing this. So look forward to Takedown next season. So many new guys that are in there now, and there's so many guys that have been there since day one, like Zach Stone, like Billy Edmonds, like Takeru, like Calvin Richardson, Jacob Cross, Casey Gordon, that are still there, those established names. And then you got the newcomers like Claudio and Sly Cooper and John Blackos and Kenzo, like I said, Matt Farrow, Nitro, he's signed, he's coming in. There's so many guys. I can't begin to tell you how many guys are in that locker room that are wanting to step up, that are wanting to make a name for themselves, that are wanting to prove themselves, and people are sleeping on that. And I just can't, say that Takedown's dead, because it's not. It never has been. Yeah, there's been a couple of setbacks. Yeah, there's been times where Takedown wouldn't air, or there's been some mistakes made along the way. But so many people, I can keep naming them. Darren Payne, British Lobo, who's also signed. He's from UWL. He's coming in. He made an appearance. Marcus King, Dante Styles, whether you love him or hate him. Suplex Mountain, Future Foundation. Future War Cult, Black Cathedral, The Testament, Vin Taylor, Mark Butcher, Aaron Anderson, the Iron Man, he's coming back next season. We haven't seen him in a while, but I can go ahead and tell you he's coming back too. So there's a lot of big names that are still on Takedown that are ready to step up and ready to prove that Takedown is a top tier brand, and next season is going to really be the tipping point of that. So be on the lookout in the next 3 or 4 weeks when DCA returns. You'll probably be shocked at all the people that are coming in and the big names that are going to be coming in. So look forward to that, really. And the same for the Wildcats division. A lot of people have put Wildcats above Takedown for so many years, and that may be true whether you depending on what side of the spectrum you're on. But like I said, don't sleep on Takedown too much longer. You won't have a choice to ignore Takedown. Takedown won't be ignored for much longer. I have a good feeling on that. So look forward to it. It's going to be amazing. Trust me, it's going to be one of those things where you don't want to miss it. But yeah, now that the DCA side is done, I want to move over to the VWU side. Because of certain shifts in things, I am technically the head guy, the spokesperson, I guess, of VWU now. So I have the rights and privileges to make a couple of announcements here on this stream, and I will try and run through these as quick as I can so I can get you guys out of here. I've already kept you an hour and a half, and it's an hour, and it's about 30 minutes longer than I wanted to, but when I start talking, you know how that goes. So we haven't had a men's thing in VWU for quite a while now, and I know that's been apparent when it comes to VW stuff for a bit, but that's about to change. So coming up in January, we're going to have VW Insurgency. It's going to be an all-male show, all-men's show, and the card's already set. So I just want to go ahead and run through some of these. First, it's very important to note that the VW, we had a VW 150 last year. We're doing away with that. We're not going 150 anymore. We're just going to do 50. 50 for the men and 50 for the women. We're going to give you details on that either after this stream or tomorrow for sure, or sometime during the week. You will have information on the VW 50. But here's the catch for the VW 50 for the men. The men's 1 and 2. By the way, the VW World Champion, whoever he is, will be exempt from the vote because he's already the top guy. He doesn't have to be on the list. And again, this will all be pointed out on the VW Twitter. So if you haven't followed Virtual Wrestling United on Twitter, go do that. But the VW 50, the top 1 and 2, men and women, the top 2 on the men's side, 1 and 2 will fight at Insurgency. And the other and the other 8 men below them will be in the most wanted tournament. So just in case you're confused here, 1 and 2, number 1 and number 2 will fight at Insurgency already. The number 3, 4, 5, and further down, those next 8 guys will fight in the most wanted tournament, and that final will also be at Insurgency. The winner of those 2 matches will fight the VW World Champion at Duality in February for the world title. So it'll be a triple threat match at Duality for the world championship between the champion, the winner of the VW 50 final, and the winner of the most wanted final. So just in case that's a little confusing, that'll speed that up a little bit. So that is going to be happening at Insurgency. Also at Insurgency, VW Tag Team Championship match. Whoever the champions are, right now it's Blackout 2.0, but it may change before Insurgency comes out. Blackout 2.0 will defend, or whoever the champions are, will defend the titles against the New Scene. I don't know which 3 of the New Scene they will be, but the New Scene earned an opportunity, and they will get an opportunity at the tag team titles at Insurgency. The Hell's Gambit Championship will be on the line as well. Whoever the champion is, right now it's Gordon Ramsay after what happened at Supernova. No, not Supernova, Pulse. At Pulse 50. Right now it's Gordon Ramsay. We don't know if it will be the same at Insurgency, but whoever the Hell's Gambit champion is at Insurgency will defend the title against Nitro in a match to be determined. So that is taking place then. Fatal 5-way match for the Heart Gold Championship match at Duality. It's going to be... Hang on a second. Okay, it's going to be Jamal Bedlam versus V-Pac versus Roman Reigns versus Bowser versus Captain Falcon. If those names are familiar to you, those are the names of the people that were in the Infinity War match at Prestige earlier this year, and they're finally getting their just reward for that, for being in that match. They are going to be fighting for the Heart Gold Championship shot at Duality. So that's happening at Insurgency. Also at Insurgency, speaking of the Heart Gold Championship, Ray Geddes, the current champion, or whoever the champion is, will face Marcus King for the title. Marcus King getting his rematch that he never got one-on-one for the Heart Gold title. He will get that at Insurgency. So those are the matches so far announced for VW Insurgency next month. I will run through them again one more time for you. The VW 50 men's 1 and 2 will face off in a one-on-one match. The finals of the Most Wanted tournament will take place. Those 2 winners will meet the VW World Champion in a triple threat match at Duality in February. Whoever the VW Tag Team Champions will be at Insurgency will defend the titles against the New Scene. The Hell's Gambit Champion, whoever that is, will face Nitro. The Fatal 5-Way for a future shot at the Heart Gold title at Duality will be Jamal Bedlam, Roman Reigns, Bowser, and Captain Falcon. And Ray Geddes, or whoever the Heart Gold champion is, will defend the title against Marcus King. That is the plan so far for Insurgency. Again, all of the specifics and details and everything will be on the VWU Twitter sometime this week, as early as tomorrow. And we will keep you updated as soon as we can on that. In terms of Queens of Wrestling stuff, I will handle that as well. And I will give you information on the first 2020 Queens of Wrestling event. The Queens of Wrestling title, mind you, will be on the line at the Christmas Vacation. I can tell you right now, Hannah Brightly will defend the title against Asuka Kazama, who will finally be getting her one-on-one shot that I promised her all the way back in the summer. She's going to be fighting Hannah Brightly this Saturday night at the Christmas Vacation for the Queens of Wrestling Championship. So that is happening at the Christmas Vacation this Saturday night. and I will have a list of all the matches for the first Christmas vacation this coming week. So we will also this week give you information on the Duality Tournament. Of course, the Duality Tournament is a tag team tournament where the winners get a shot at the VWU tag team titles at Prestige 3. So we will give you the 8 teams in that at some point in time. But other than that, again, the Christmas vacation, my Christmas vacation is happening this Saturday night. The SRW World Title, the VWU World Title, the Queens of Wrestling Title, and the All Stars Women's Title will all be on the line this Saturday night. So Friday night is CCL Holiday Havoc. Malik Brown will defend the VWU World Title against John Blackos. Whoever wins that will fight someone Saturday night at Christmas vacation for the VWU World Title. Carmen Cortez will defend, and yes, this is real, folks. I'm not making this up. Carmen Cortez will defend the All Stars Women's Title this Friday night at Holiday Havoc against Lisa Ann. Yes, that Lisa Ann. Don't ask why. Ask Adam Jackpot about it. The winner of that match will defend the All Stars Women's Title the next night at the Christmas vacation against an opponent to be determined. The SRW World Title will be on the line. Maya, the new champion, will defend it against Joanna Dark. I can tell you that right now. And again, like I said, the Queens of Wrestling title will be on the line. Hannah Brightly will defend it against Asuka Kazama this Saturday night, as well as the men's and women's Mother Truck and Cluster Rumbles. The winners of those Rumbles will get guaranteed championship matches at some point. And there will be other matches to be announced this week for that event. So get ready for that. It is happening. It will not be delayed or canceled like the summer break was. It will happen. So that's going to take place this Saturday night. So other than that, the only thing left for me to talk about now is the stuff that's not DCA or VW related. If you haven't been paying attention, I have been putting up a bunch of stuff about Scarlet Rower Bridge lately. That is a huge project I'm going to be doing in 2020 that will still be on this channel. So if you're a fan of Saints Row stuff, you will love Scarlet Rower Bridge. I have a huge cast for it already. I have scripts on the way for that. Auditions are still going on. There's a Patreon set up for that. The link is in the video. The second trailer we did, really hilarious trailer. I encourage you guys to go see it. And this is, and just to go off the cuff here a little bit, this project is something that I am really passionate about, like seriously passionate about. As if it's not like I'm not passionate about DCA. I am, but this is a different animal for me. It's something much bigger, something a lot more professional grade. I have a great crop of voice actors that are signed on to this, and I don't make it a habit of promoting a Patreon. I don't make it a habit of trying to sound like I'm in need or anything like that, because I know how that is on the internet. I know how people take that. I know how people perceive that, and I've never tried to do that to any of you. I have always been grateful for the fan base that I have. I've always been grateful for the people that I've been able to entertain over 6.5 years of doing this, and that I will never take that for granted. I'll never take any of you for granted. But I do have a Patreon specifically for this project. I want to get to the point where I can actually pay these people for their time as much as they are just volunteering to help me do this and make this the best it can possibly be. I want this to grow. I want this to be a huge thing that really blows into something special, and I can't do that without any of you guys. So if you're listening to this right now and you feel compelled to donate to Patreon, please do. You don't have to. It's not an obligation. I'm not forcing you. I'm not putting a gun to your head and saying do it. No, I'm not doing any of that. All I can do is just ask, and ask for your support, ask for the likes, ask for the comments, ask for all the support that you can give me for this. This is going to be, I'm really going to put a lot of effort into this as much as I do DCA. I'm going to be prioritizing my time between Scarlet Road Bridge, DCA, my real job, my podcast I want to start, streaming on Twitch. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff in 2020, and it's going to take a lot, and running VWU as well. But I believe that it's all about putting in the work for me. And I think my track record shows that. I know I've not always been the most reliable guy in the world. I know I haven't always been the best at communication. For a lot of people that may see this, I can admit I have not sometimes been the best in the past at communicating. I've tried to do better over recent years at that. I haven't always been the best when it comes to scheduling or leaving some things in videos that I shouldn't have in there, or any of those little things, right? But speaking genuinely here, I've done everything possible to really make DCA something special and something that you guys can just sit back and enjoy whenever I do an episode, whenever an episode airs, whenever an episode comes up. And I hope that this project with Scarlet Road Bridge can be just as that for you. It'll obviously be shorter, at least 5 to 10 minutes an episode sometimes. They won't be very long, but I want you guys to see the effort and the talent that I have and the effort that they put in and the amount of work that's going to go into this. And I want them to see that there's support for this. I want them to see that there is an avenue for this, that there's a platform for this. And like I said, any support you can give will be greatly appreciated, and it would mean so much to me. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to donate to Patreon, but with things happening at my real job that I don't want to say, that has kind of crippled me over the last month, especially. It's been really tough for me. And I try not to say it because I don't want to be that guy that seems like he's begging and seems like he's pleading and all that stuff. I've always been real with all of you. I've always been honest and upfront with all of you most of the time. When I can have a moment to speak like this to you, I've always been honest, and I can honestly tell you about what's going on. And this project is I wouldn't say it's an escape as much as it is a passion and something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've never really had a clear head to do it or a time to do it. And now is the time that I do it. Now I feel is the perfect time for me to do this. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I really hope you guys like it. I hope you find it funny. I hope you find it hilarious. I hope you find it weird, crazy, whatever you want to say. It's gonna be wild. I can tell you that right now. With the amount of people I have, the talented people that I have that that have a lot of creativity, I can tell. They are really open-minded, willing to be up for anything. It's going to be interesting to see what I can do and what they can do with me when it comes to this project. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And again, like I said, it's something different. It's something new. And I think that's what I've been wanting to do for a while, is to kind of take a step back from the DCA stuff, because I don't want it to just be DCA, you know. And you notice when I changed the name last year from DCA Wrestling to DCA Gaming and then DCA Gaming and Entertainment, because I don't want it to just be the wrestling channel. You know, that's my passion. Yeah. Is that something that I've always had a passion for, is wrestling? Obviously. But I don't want it to just be that anymore. I want to show that I can do more than just be the wrestling guy. I want to show that I can be more than just the DCA guy. That I can branch out and do a project like this. That I can branch out and do podcasting. That I can do streaming. I want to be able to show not just myself, but to show others that I can be more than that. And if this takes off and it becomes somewhat successful, I can show that to myself that I can be more than DCA. That it's not just that DCA isn't just the only thing I'm good at. And I think that's what I'm really rooting for. So again, I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to come out in 2020 sometime. I'm aiming for the beginning of the year. I'm aiming for the beginning of 2020 sometime in between January and February maybe, depending on certain things. So look forward to that. That's going to be cool. I can't wait for it. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what I might be doing some other things outside of that, but I will let you know if I do. But right now, the main goal is DCA, Scarlet Row Abridged, my streams on Twitch, and my podcast I want to do, which I'll tell you about that next year. But I think that's everything I needed to say. I can't think of anything else really to say except thank you. It's been another successful year, for good or for bad, through all the good times and the bad, all the slip-ups and all the crazy things that have happened. You know who you are that I'm talking to when I say that. I made it through another season. I don't know how. I don't know how my crazy ass made it through another season, but I did. And I think this was honestly one of the more successful streams for Revelations, and one of the more successful seasons I think I've ever done. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the stories that were told, the characters you've seen. I've really put everything I had into it this season. I really think this one was a turning point in terms of production, especially when it comes to me. And again, I'm peeling back the curtain a little bit here real quick. Just me in terms of using highlight reel for the first time in certain matches. And really doing that like to a big time degree, and not just every so often, but to like a big degree of highlight reel in matches. When it comes to the storylines, the characters, the new people that came in, it's all of that aspect of it was really, really cool this year. And again, stick around on my Twitter, on the DCA Twitter. There's going to be a lot of little things you're going to see in just a couple of minutes about the next season that I think you're going to like. I really think you're going to enjoy it. I can't obviously say it here because I want to kind of end it off here. It's almost a 2-hour stream. But I keep an eye out on the Twitter in just a couple minutes. You're going to see some really cool stuff. But thank you guys so much. It's going to be another... Let me see. Let me check my calendar here. It's going to be... We're going to be on a little bit of a break. I know it's going to be a short break. I'd say about 2 to 3 weeks. You won't be seeing any DCA content. There will be Hit Kids New League, the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance. They're going to be having a couple of shows here and there on the channel until he gets his channel established. There'll be a couple of little aftershock shows on his channel. Of course, at Queens of Wrestling, Sabre became the first Bellatrix champion of his organization. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that in the next couple of weeks on this channel. But as for DCA, that's going to be on hiatus for about 2 to 3 weeks, and until after CCL's Big 110. And after that, get ready for the season 6 of DCA. 6 seasons going into in May of 2020, June actually, of 2020, will be 7 years of doing this hobby, doing this DCA thing. I'm stoked. I am stoked for this next season. I hope you guys are going to be along the ride for me, with me. I mean, it's. I'm stumbling over my words because that's how excited I am over this. I've put a lot of work into this season. I can't wait for you guys to see exactly what I have in mind when it comes to a lot of different things. Like, trust me, you're gonna love all of it. Like I said, don't sleep on Takedown. I promise you guys. I give you my word. Takedown. So it's gonna be so much more next season. Guarantee you. Again, season premiere Takedown. Billy Edmonds challenging Zach Stone for the world title. Season premiere Wildcats. Carmen Cortez will be in action in a non-title match against Oseko. So that's going to be the two big main events for Takedown and Wildcats season premieres coming up in about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So get ready for that. Thank you guys. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. Again, look on the Twitter page in just a couple minutes on these announcements of these big matches, a few other things, a few other surprises. It's going to be great. And again, thank you guys for all of the support. Thank you guys for all the love, and through the good times and the bad, you still stuck with me, whether you've been here since day one in 2013 or whether you're just now along for the ride. I can never thank you guys enough. Like I said on Twitter last night, you guys are the reason I still do DCA. If you guys weren't here, I would not be doing this. If I didn't have the friends that I have, if I didn't have the fan base that I have, people might say it's small. People might say it's a niche. It's a niche fan base. People might say all this kind of stuff, but the fact that people watch, the fact that people are entertained, the fact that people, are appreciative of the work I put in and the stuff that I do, it speaks the world to me. It means everything. And I would not be where I am right now. I would not have learned all the things that I've learned about video editing and storytelling and all this stuff if you guys weren't there to support me through every little hiccup I've had, every little mistake I've made, all of these things that I've been through in the last couple years. And I feel proud that I can provide something that lets you guys escape from the norm. When shit goes down in your life, and especially this season, the holiday season, where things are just shitty and people go through shit, and I feel like I'm proud to know that there are people, and I know that there's people who are going through stuff. But to know that there are people out there that come to me and say that thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for having that escape, for providing that escape for me. That means a lot to me, and that's why I still do this. That's why I still do this as much as I do. I put myself through so much, and I record almost every day. I edit almost every day. I book almost every day. I edit almost every day. I storybook almost every day. Because I love to do it, and because I have fun doing it, and because, you guys are still here for me. So, again, thank you so much for it. It really means the world. It's been a wild ride, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, it's 2 hours now officially. I've got to go get some more stuff done. I'm still working on shit for you guys, so I'm not taking DCA might be taking a break, but I'm not. I never take breaks. I should, but I don't. I have too much fun doing this. Everyone keeps saying you should take a break. I don't take breaks. I would go stir crazy if I didn't. So I'm going to be heading back to work. I got stuff I'm going to be doing and everything. So thank you guys again. Like I said, if you want to support the Patreon page, it's I believe there's a link in one of my videos. Just search Scarlet Row Abridged. You'll see the trailer, the second trailer. There's a link in there. I think there's a link on the About section of the channel. You don't have to. It's not a requirement, but it would mean a lot to me. DCA 6th season coming in about 2 to 3 weeks. VWU is going to be on the VWU channel and on the Twitter page, especially the Twitter page. Keep an eye out on the DCA Twitter in the next 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to be seeing some good stuff there. Thank you guys again. I love you guys. You guys, I'd be nothing without you. Seriously, mean that. Look forward to season 6. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I am D Wall, and I will talk to you guys later. See you guys.